Live from Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, Root Sports brings you Houston Astros baseball. Tonight, it's the beginning of a very brief two-game interleague series between the Astros and the Colorado Rockies. Good evening, everybody. Bill Brown, along with Alan Ashby, and Julia Morales will join us soon to see Game 1 of this series. The Astros won 2 of 3 over the weekend to get some momentum back after that 7-game losing streak, and they have Dallas Keuchel on the mound tonight, Ash.
Always a good thing, Brownie, when you've got Dallas Keuchel on the mound. Though he took a loss his last time out, Dallas continues to shine. Quality start after quality start. And Dallas, as you see him against the White Sox in Chicago, last time out pitched very well. Went 7 innings in that ballgame and allowed just a couple of runs. But that was enough to get him as the White Sox picked up a W against him, something most teams have been unable to come up with. Still leads the major leagues in the ground ball outs on the season. Dallas Keuchel's been doing his thing, mixing the speeds, utilizing sinker and changeup, slider to go with it to get a ton of outs.
Chad Bettis will be his mound opponent. He pitched at Texas Tech. Now we look at the Colorado Rockies for the first time this season, and their third baseman, Nolan Arenado, is one of the very best, Ash.
The Rockies in Colorado are a really good offensive team. They're one of the leaders in the National League in terms of batting average. They'll score a bunch of runs. But on the road, they're a different-looking club.
They are a different-looking club, and even though they have a better road record, still, nonetheless, hitting at Coors Field is a major advantage.
Nolan Arenado, that young third baseman that's been so good, a lot of people feel like he's as good a third baseman as there is in all of Major League Baseball. He can hit with some thump, and then there's Troy Tulowitzki, who continues when healthy, and that is kind of seldom at times to be able to swing the big bat, plays a fine shortstop. A couple of stars on this club. Carlos Gonzalez, another one of those big names, but has struggled with injuries.
Coming up, whooping sticks. The year of the long ball took a turn into small ball over the weekend for the Astros. Julia Morales recaps how the Astros got offensive and how they're feeling about the AL West race when we return.
Set for game one of this two-game home series, two-game away series with Colorado. It's a unique one. The Houston Astros feeling much better, though, coming off of a nice series win over the Mariners. That was coming off of a really tough road trip where the offense was not able to drive in runs like they wanted to. Well, yesterday they sure did drive in some runs, 13 to be exact, shutting out the end. And they did it in different ways. We've seen this team hit the long ball and have success with that. But yesterday, 2 or more hits in 4 of the first 5 innings you see there, scoring 11 of 13 runs in those first 5 innings. So they did it early. But Heaven Gaddis, you saw him crossing the plate just there, had 4 singles yesterday, tying a career high for hits for him. Colby Rasmus driving in 3 runs yesterday. These guys felt much better at the plate. They weren't chasing pitches like they had been maybe during that road trip. So getting better pitches to hit, and they just tacked on runs throughout the day, building some confidence. And when you look at what they did in those 3 games against the Mariners compared to that tough road trip, including the day before they left that road trip, it was 7 games and they lost all 7. Well, here's what happened. 24 runs over those last 3 games, just 16 in the 7 games prior to that. Like I said, this team felt like they were chasing a little bit during that road trip. Preston Tucker saying, but they just weren't able to get runs across like they wanted to. Nobody could come through with the big hit. Of course, hitting is contagious, and you saw that yesterday. Dave Hudgens, the hitting coach, saying that the way that they weren't chasing pitches, you're going to get better pitches to hit. And when one player on this team gets going, you see all of them get going. Very good to see for this Houston Astros club as they welcome in the Colorado Rockies today. Don't go anywhere. Coming up, Dallas Keuchel will be on the mound, and he's going to have the tough challenge of trying to silence some of the hottest bats in the league. Stay right there, Brownie and Ash. We'll get you set next.
Course corrected and tightened their grip in the AL West. Tonight, Dallas Keuchel continues his all-star push, while Springer and Correa lead the Houston procession full speed ahead toward the postseason. The march to the playoffs continues starting now. With the Astros win yesterday and losses by the Rangers and the Angels, the Astros lead has grown to 2.5 over Texas, 3.5 over the Angels. And by winning 2 of 3 against Seattle, they dropped the Mariners 7.5 games in their rearview mirrors, while Oakland trails by 10.5 in the AL West.
It's an intriguing division, Brownie, and I could see it rolling around for a while, but I really do believe the Astros stack up right now with the best talent.
Well, here they are with a 36-28 record, second best winning percentage in the American League, .563. Moving over to take on the Rockies in interleague play tonight. The Astros 4-1 against National League teams so far this year. It's essentially the beginning of a 4-game series. 2 here, 2 at Coors Field in Colorado. There are weather concerns in this area because of the tropical buildup in the Gulf of Mexico. Skies are dark out in the distance, and that perhaps has cut into the attendance for this game tonight. There's a day game coming tomorrow at 1:10, but be assured that game is still scheduled. It is still on and is expected to go off without a hitch. How much rain might arrive overnight? Well, we're still checking on that, and that probably changes every hour or so, Ash.
Well, I know you have a possibility of staying downtown tonight. I'm going to brave it. I've got my long boots on, ready to head back home, get the suitcase packed, and ready to roll tomorrow.
That's the spirit, because the Astros will take off on a 3-city road trip after the game tomorrow. But to tonight's business first, and Dallas Keuchel with that 7-2 record and the second best ERA in the American League, 1.90. It'll be his first ever appearance against the Rockies, and the Rockies catch him at Minute Maid Park, where he's 5-0 with a 1.29 ERA. Ash.
10 complete games on the year for Dallas. He has been spectacular. He's a 2-time already winner of the monthly award for pitcher of the month. In the home starts, ERA at 1.29, has not allowed a long ball here at Minute Maid Park. He would love to continue that trend with these Rocks tonight.
Yeah, those 10 quality starts you mentioned in 13, showing you the consistency of the veteran lefty. And the Astros are 9-4 when he is their starting pitcher this season. Colorado Rockies are not starting Carlos Gonzalez, perhaps a large consideration, the left-hander on the mound. Here's the lineup they do have, though, tonight for Walt Weiss, formerly with the Atlanta Braves, as their shortstop, and, of course, the Rockies as well. He'll go with DJ LeMahieu, one of the top hitters in baseball. He's the leadoff man tonight and second baseman, followed by shortstop Troy Tulowitzki. Then it's Nolan Arenado at third base, Willeen Rosario at first, Michael McHenry the DH, Brandon Barnes, the former Astro, in right field, Rafael Inoa in left, Nick Hundley the catcher, Charlie Blackmon in center field.
Well, the Astros defensively behind Dallas Keuchel. Outfield left to right is Preston Tucker, Colby Rasmussen, George Springer. The left side of the infield consists of Luis Valbuena and Carlos Correa. On the right, it's Marwin Gonzalez as Altuve gets one more day off. Chris Carter at first, and Jason Castro behind the plate.
And you could see Jose Altuve in tomorrow's lineup for the 1:10 start. Now it's Keuchel and it's LeMahieu. LeMahieu checking in at .339 with 3 homers, 30 runs batted in. Just banging out line drives ever since opening day this season. There's strike one. DJ, 26 years old, formerly with the Chicago Cubs, came to the Rockies in a trade after the 2011 season. He chases that one, and it's a strike. 0-2. Jerry Lane, the crew chief, rings it up as a swing.
How do you best succeed at about 89 to 91 miles an hour? Take a good look at Dallas Keuchel. Spots it so well. Good late movement, changing speeds.
Off the plate, LeMahieu not chasing, 1-2.
Make quality pitches like that with an 0-2 count where it's just out of the strike zone. You induce that hitter to start making a move with the bat.
LeMahieu is not normally the leadoff man for the Rockies. And he lets that one go. It's a 2-ball, 2-strike count. He has a .387 on base average, though. And that certainly qualifies him. The Rockies have lost 11 straight interleague games on the road. But overall on the road, they're 15-16 this season. Very respectable record. They just lost 3 of 4 in Miami, winning the game yesterday from the Marlins. And now it's 3-2. Keuchel's walked just 24 in 94 2/3 innings.
Well, Dallas does not intend to find a lot of the plate in any count other than maybe a 3-2 like this. He wants to continue to work just marginally in the strike zone.
Ground ball slowly hit to third. Luis Valbuena takes care of out number 1. And Keuchel, who's the best ground ball pitcher in baseball right now, averaging 4.6 grounders for every fly ball, tops in the majors. It's LeMahieu.
It's kind of overlooked at times, but just seeing Valbuena make that throw, he has been really good putting throws on the money this year.
Keuchel on Tuesday lost to the White Sox despite a fine effort, 7 innings, 2 runs, and lost that game 4-2. Now it's Troy Tulowitzki. And that strike one to Tulo, a .304 hitter with 7 homers, 33 runs batted in for the 30-year-old veteran from Long Beach State. First round pick in '05. Career .299 hitter. Back to Keuchel. That's his 38th total chance of the season without an error for last year's Gold Glove winner, and it's out number 2.
Dallas is good with that glove, and he's also very athletic on the hill. Little dribblers up either line. He can make the play with anybody.
Nolan Arenado has become one of the top stars in the game, and at the age of 24, he is a highlight reel. .271, 16 homers, is 6th in the National League, 49 runs batted in, ranks him 4th. He won his 2nd Gold Glove last season. That's in for strike 1. The Rockies are 6th in runs scored in the National League with 269. They're averaging 4.34 runs per game. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count.
A lot of what goes on with the Rockies, not only this year but through the years at Coors Field, is the numbers inflate. And when you look at Nolan Arenado, 11 of his 16 home runs have come at Coors this year.
Swings and falls behind, 1-2 in the count. Arenado from Newport Beach, California, was a 2nd-round pick of the Rockies in '09. Off the plate for ball 2. Here's the split on the Rockies. It's always the case. People scrutinize their home and road breakdowns because they hit so well in the offensive haven there at Coors Field, even though with the humidor the last several years, not so much offense as before.
Numbers wise, they're good overall offensively. They're dead last in ERA on that pitching side, and that's a result in good part of the ballpark.
2 hopper, Valbuena turns it into out number 3. A routine first for Keuchel and a 0 for Dallas. Now the Astros starting lineup is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Chad Bettis will face this group for A.J. Hinch, George Springer in right field, Carlos Correa shortstop, Preston Tucker left field, Evan Gattis DH, Colby Rasmus center field, Chris Carter first base, Luis Valbuena third base, Marwin Gonzalez second base, Jason Castro catcher.
And on the mound for the Colorado Rockies, Chad Bettis, 26 years of age, out of Lubbock, Texas, Texas Tech University. 3rd year now in the big leagues. This year 2-1, lifetime 3-6, and that lifetime Ernie at .552, but he's gotten much better this year.
George Springer steps up. George is on a 7-game hitting streak. And this one goes to right field, shallow toward the line. That loops in for a hit for Springer. Fielded by Brandon Barnes, the former Astro, and on the first pitch, Springer extends his hitting streak to 8 games.
George Springer is probably before now, but certainly now thinking, you know what? Those guys were right that said there are a lot of hits in right field. He's starting to pick them up time after time. Tough pitch as George goes down, stays on it, and gets it.
He's aboard for Carlos Correa. And the young shortstop with a .240 average has 2 homers, 4 runs batted in his first 6 major league games. Strike 1 to Carlos.
Let's see what George Springer's been doing to get these hits to right field. That pitch leads to it, but George stays down long enough to get just the end of the bat on the baseball, head down on the baseball. He's making a lot more steady contact.
Correa's been on base in all 6 major league games. He looks at a ball, 1-1. He was practicing bunting in the batting cage, as all the players do during batting practice tonight. And I asked him if he had ever bunted. He said, well, no, not in professional baseball. Here he is batting second, which might lead some people to expect an occasional bunt now and then, but he's primarily hit third on every team he's been on, Ash, so those players usually aren't asked to bunt.
And as much as George Springer's been getting on base and as successfully as he's run this year, just waving the bat around, showing bunt, taking a pitch might play well.
It might. There's a nice size hole on the right side of the infield with double play depth for LeMahieu and Tulowitzki as the throw goes over on Springer. George with 13 steals in 15 tries, attracting some attention. The Astros lead the AL in steals with 50. They've been caught 15 times. Rockies have surrendered 43 stolen bases in 56 attempts. Pettis has really been consistent. There's a shot into left field. Back-to-back singles for the Astros have something working for Preston Tucker.
Bettis made his best effort to get in on the hands of Correa with a fastball, but Correa is so quick and was able to cut off that swing enough to get the barrel to it and hit it very sharply into left field. Just a little late right there. Let's see. Yes. Now watch as that ball works inside. He gets the barrel to it with that left arm. A little bit of a chicken wing to get the arm out of the way and quickly get the barrel to it. That's very good hitting.
Correa makes it runners at first and second. Preston Tucker, the batter. His brother Kyle has now signed with the Astros. He was the 5th overall pick in the draft. He took batting practice today. There's a shot into right field on the ground. Springer's being sent home by Gary Pettis. Throw goes toward third. And on one bounce, not in time. 1-0 Houston. On 3 straight singles, Tucker gets his 11th run batted in.
And for Preston Tucker, he does it in front of not only his brother, but his mom and dad, the entire family on hand. And that's got to be a lot of fun for Preston. He is the big leaguer. Little brother, who's a lot taller, is now trying to make it on the way. But how about this first inning? The youth with Springer, Correa, and Tucker coming on with base hits.
Brandon Barnes' throw was a strong one. Correa going first to third on the single by Tucker.
And by the way, that throw goes to third because there is no way you get George Springer at the plate on that play.
Evan Gattis is the batter. Chasing a curveball, he swings for strike 1. And the curveball is the best pitch for Chad Bettis. It has been a terrific pitch for him. He throws it 23% of the time. 11 times out of 21. Things have been successful for Gattis with that runner on third and less than 2 outs. He's the only Astro who has faced Bettis. He's 1 for 4 with an RBI against Chad. Takes that pitch and it's 1-1. Bettis made the opening day Rockies roster last year in the bullpen. Things did not work out. He was up and down 4 times between the Major League club Colorado and the AAA team Colorado Springs. And it's obvious now to many that he is a starting pitcher, not a reliever. That's off the leg of Gattis. 1-2. And Fastball's about 92 for Bettis with the curve around 74. He throws that for a strike 63% of the time this year, and he can use it as a chase pitch.
But as he's been, maybe in the terminology of today, trying to pound the strike zone, the Astros have pounded a little better with the bats.
For a team known for its homers with 85, 3 straight singles out of the chute. A little bit different than what some people might expect, but the Astros yesterday tattooed Seattle pitching for 14 hits and 13 runs, and they didn't hit a homer until they had already scored 7 runs in the game.
Talk about a guy that keeps his nose on the ball. Watch this on the breaking ball from Evan Gattis. Look at him stay down with that baseball to get a piece. Great work.
He's almost hit by that one. He was saying today during batting practice, Ash, that what he's really working on is when he gets that bat started on its path, just the beginning of the swing. That is everything to him right now, just getting that bat path.
That's a focus for a lot of guys, trying to make that path directly to the baseball and not dropping below the baseball and then having to catch up.
Struck him out. 1 out for Bettis.
Defensively for these Colorado Rockies in the outfield, left to right, Rafael Inoa, Charlie Blackmon in center, and Brandon Barnes, fine outfielder in right. Left side of the infield, Nolan Arenado and Troy Tulowitzki. Those guys are good. DJ LeMahieu and Willem Rosario on the right, and Nick Hundley shoring things up behind the plate.
Colby Rasmus steps up with 8 homers, 20 runs batted in, and a .248 batting average. He's hit well in June, .296. Grounds that one foul. Strike 1 for Colby. He's had a .406 on base average in the month of June. Colby had a big day yesterday. 2 for 4, 2 runs batted in, 3 runs batted in rather, and a walk. He's a .311 lifetime hitter against the Rockies.
It's kind of a crucial moment here in the first inning. You've got to make sure, if you're the Astros, to get at least 2 runs in the inning.
Only drew back the arm, chased Correa back into third base. No balls, 2 strikes now to Rasmus, so he's fighting for contact in this situation to try to get Correa home. Chris Carter's on deck.
Carlos Correa really showed some good fundamentals as he went back toward the bag. He didn't go directly, he went inside the line, blocking the throwing lane for Hundley.
In the dirt, and Hundley keeps it close. 1 and 2 for Rasmus.
That man has been trained well, although I have a feeling he probably could have done all of it himself. Just one of those kids, but let's see if we can see exactly what he did on that potential would-be throw to third base coming down the line, and then he cuts back in, blocking that would-be path for the throw, and makes all the difference in the world.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Hundley's fighting it back there. The Astros here at home against the Rockies down through the seasons are 54 and 30, a .643 winning percentage. That's their second best at home against any team in their history. At Minute Maid Park, they're 30 and 13. The other games in the Astrodome. Tucker draws some attention at first. Rockies have a 4.69 staff ERA. That is the highest in the majors. Now Rosario over to talk with Bettis, who's 26 years old, born in Lubbock, and he stayed right there to go to Texas Tech. The Astros drafted him after high school in the 8th round in '07. He chose not to sign, and then after his junior year at Tech, he was a 2nd-round pick by the Rockies in 2010. Rasmus shoots one high and deep toward the Astros bullpen in right center field. That's a 3-run Rasmus wrap. Number 9 for Colby Rasmus, and it explodes here in the Astros first inning for a 4-0 advantage. Well, he quickly fell behind in the count 0-2, and then he started getting locked in, Ash.
So I said it was kind of crucial early to make sure you get that second run at least in the inning. Colby Rasmus said, heck with that 2-run notion. We're going for 4 in the first inning. And he's come up with some very big swings for this club. You better not leave a fastball in that middle part of the plate area for Colby Rasmus. Four-seamer, you see it rotating a little off center. And Colby Rasmus had, well, he had the thought about driving it big time.
That's ball 1 to Chris Carter. Very important blow early for Rasmus. Now a 2-ball, no strike count. The Astros with 86 long balls lead the American League. 34 of the 86 have come with men on base. Only one major league team has hit more homers with men on base. That's at least a 4-0 edge for Dallas Keuchel, and there's only 1 out in the inning.
And keep in mind, Dallas Keuchel has not yielded more than 4 runs in a ball game this year.
Rasmus had gone 50 at bats since his most recent home run May 19th against Oakland here. That's high to center field. A long run back for Charlie Blackmon, but he's underneath. 2 outs. And Luis Valbuena will follow. Valbuena is the Astros home run leader with 14, and he's batting 7th. He has 26 runs batted in to go with a 185 batting average. He hit his most recent long ball yesterday, a 2-run shot, going 2 for 4 and drawing a walk. That's ball 1 from Bettis. Bettis took a no-hitter to the 8th inning at Philadelphia. April 29th. He wound up with 8 innings of 2-hit shutout ball and a 4-1 win over the Phillies. 2 balls, no strikes. Last time out against St. Louis, he got the loss, giving up 3 runs in 5 innings. Rockies falling in that one 4-2. In for a strike to Valbuena. 2 balls and a strike. Tomorrow in day baseball, it starts at 1:10 for Vince Velasquez and Chris Russin. Then on to Colorado for 2. After that, 3 in Seattle, 3 in Anaheim for the Astros. 3-1, so they get this 4-game respite from American League West competition, where they've done so well. That's a strike. That makes it 3-2. The big 13-0 win yesterday for the Astros over Seattle. The 4th time in the last 30 years a team has won 2 shutouts in the same series by 10 runs or more. That's out to right center field. Barnes going back, and right there in front of the wall, Brandon has it. In the Astros' first, 4 runners cross home plate on 4 hits. Rasmus with the big blow. 4-0 Houston.
go to Dallas Keuchel. Who does it better? Nobody. He gets just a load of ground balls. He'll work that fastball sinking down and away time and time again. He'll throw the changeup out there to get bats in front to roll over. Then he'll try to come up and in just to keep hitters honest, occasionally getting ground balls on that. But he's such a good fielder on the hill, and he relies on the other guys in the infield. Does it as well as anybody, in fact better than anybody in the game.
There you see that high ground ball percentage. And he goes against Wilin Rosario. Strike one. Rosario with 4 homers, 12 runs batted in, has a .284 batting average. A guy who used to do a lot of catching but now playing a fair amount of first base, usually in a platoon type setup. Justin Morneau injured right now. A left-handed hitting first baseman. It's 1-1. Understandable that Walt Weiss would want to stack his right-handed hitters in this lineup against Keuchel, who's been deaf on lefty hitters. 130 is the batting average for left-handed hitters against him. Off-speed pitch catches Rosario out in front, and it's 1-2. Keuchel's gone 24 consecutive starts of at least 6 innings. Longest active streak in the majors. Breaks that one down and in, and it's 2-2. 3 straight quality starts for Dallas. They had a great game here against the White Sox. May 30th, a 4-hit shutout with 11 strikeouts and no walks. Fouled away. He had 9 innings of 2-hit shutout ball in Oakland in an 11-inning game back on April 24th. He has had some absolute gems this year. Pitcher of the month in April and May in the American League. Fly ball. Colby Rasmussen left center. On the track, 1 out.
Sure make it easy for yourself when you score early in a ball game and score a lot. But you see that the Astros 8 Friday night against Seattle in the first inning. Yesterday 3 and tonight 4. Boy, it makes it nice on the pitchers, makes it great on the hitters. You kind of free it up and get some good swings when you do so.
Michael McHenry, who does some catching, is DHing tonight. .277, 3 homers, 10 runs batted in for McHenry. Here's ball 1. He's been not only with the Rockies but the Pirates in National League play. Has faced the Astros before. He's 2 for 5 against Keuchel. Fouls that one back. 1-1. He was drafted by the Rockies in the 7th round in 06. Then moved along briefly to the Red Sox before Pittsburgh acquired him. This is only the 3rd interleague game of the year for the Rockies. They lost both of the first 2 to the Angels. One and 2. Rockies are 3-9 in games started by lefties. That's kind of hard to figure with their lineup. 2-2.
Wonder how much taking Carlos Gonzalez out of the game with the left-hander might mean to them. Maybe a lot. He's only hitting very low figure, 130 something, I believe, this year against the lefties.
Yeah, it's not much. Three and 2 now with Brandon Barnes waiting. Braves lead the Red Sox 3-0. They're in the bottom of the 6th at Fenway. The Red Sox are indeed in a tailspin right now. It's the Orioles 1, the Phillies 0 at the end of the 5th in Baltimore. Marwin Gonzalez, 2 outs. Brandon Barnes was a real fan favorite here, including a cycle against Seattle.
Yeah, he's such a bright spirit. He just really is fun to be around, and he's a terrific outfielder. When he produces with the bat, he becomes very exciting, and you can see with that dive into third base how he plays the game. And that was a lot of fun, and He kind of has that same persona with the Colorado Rockies. They love him. And in limited opportunities, hitting over 300 this year.
He made the highlight reel with another diving catch last night. Now a grounder, and Margot with a quick snap throw gets him. That's 6 in a row set down by Keuchel. 4-0 Houston. Is presented by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by Jack in the Box. Try the new Double Jack today, only at Jack in the Box. The Astros lead it 4-0. Marwin Gonzalez stepping up to lead it off in the home second inning. 4 runs on 4 hits in the Houston first inning. Marwin takes, and the switch hitter looks at strike one. 213, 3 homers, 15 runs batted in for Marwin Gonzalez. Jose Altuve looked good in pregame workouts. Probably will play tomorrow. Trying to bunt his way on, he misses, and it's 0-2 to Marwin. He ripped a solo homer and drew a bases loaded walk yesterday in his second consecutive start, so his 3rd in a row now at second base for the injured Altuve, with a slight right hamstring strain that has responded very quickly to treatment. 1-2, and it just figures the way the schedule breaks down here for Altuve that giving him this one more day of rest on the hamstring with a day game coming tomorrow is the wise way to treat the injury. He looks ready to go, doesn't he?
Boy, he was ready to go out in infield work today during batting practice. He was jumping all over the place.
Second strikeout for Bettis. Disturbing news, though, came down today that Altuve has fallen out of the lead in the All-Star voting at second base behind Omar Infante, and that is just a joke.
Well, line it up, get hot once again, and see if you can sprint back into the lead.
Jason Castro's the batter. Fans still have a couple of weeks to reverse that tide. Castro grounds one to first. Rosario has it, 2 down. Let's see what the latest results are.
Oh, that makes me blue.
Yeah. Well, there's no way this many Kansas City Royals can be allowed to start the All-Star game.
Do you know that Mike Trout is outvoted by some of those guys from KC? There you go. You got a 204 batting average, getting ready to start at second base for the American League All-Star team.
Not sensible.
Yeah. And again, it's not an endeavor to jump on a particular guy, but it's about trying to get it right.
Strike one to George Springer. Led off the Astros first. with a single to right. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. Pirates lead the White Sox 7-0. They're in the bottom of the 5th. Here's the pregame workout for Jose Altuve.
He was out there trying to show that he can run without pain, no problems going on. I was impressed watching him at second base, just really bouncing as he took ground balls and moving around extremely well.
By the way, you saw strength and conditioning coach Jake Biding in that shot. There's the check mark for Altuve on the All-Star ballot. This is Jake Biding's birthday. Fly ball left field by Springer and into the seats. Number 9 for George Springer. 5-0 Houston. Bettis had not allowed a homer this season in 38 innings coming into this game. Now he's given up 2.
You know what? This is turning out to be classic stuff for George Springer. As we mentioned, a lot of hits coming to right field, to center field as well. When you get the fastball, you go the other way. When you get the curveball that hangs a bit, then you get out in front and launch it. And that's exactly what George is doing. Great stuff.
22 runs batted in for George Springer. A 5-0 lead for Houston. Carlos Correa with strike 1. He singled to left in the first inning.
And Carlos Correa was going to try to take back-to-back pitches out of the yard.
He had that intent. Fouls that one away, and it's 0-2 to Carlos.
Wow. Just a foul ball, but you watch what guys do and the way they sting the baseball both directions. Carlos Correa can do it.
Fouls it away. Bettis with that 38 1/3 innings without giving up a home run coming into this game. Was the only pitcher in the majors prior to a few minutes ago who had not surrendered a long ball in that many innings. Jake Marisnick talking with George. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Don't get too comfy taking a pitch that close with a couple of strikes.
It's 2-2. During batting practice, Brett Overholzer had a bat coming out of the dugout. He's due to start Wednesday night at Colorado as interleague play shifts to the National League Park, and he'll be able to bat against Kyle Kendrick. Now it's a full count to Carlos Correa. Thursday afternoon, it's Colin McHugh and Dave Hale. Bouncer up the middle and on through into center field. Correa's 2 for 2 in this game.
Yeah, talk about Springer and going the other way and then getting the hanger and launching it. So when you've got a count like this, a couple of strikes on you and you get worked down and away, stay back up the middle. Ball's not crushed, but you can find a rather sizable hole up the middle a lot of the time. I don't think there's any real book right now on Correa, so defenses are going to have to stay fairly straight up, although I think they may have to stay that way, the way he can use the whole field.
That's his second 2-hit game as a major leaguer. He draws a throw. Preston Tucker's the batter. Correa stole a base in his second major league game at Chicago against the White Sox. He's 1 for 1 as a major leaguer in stealing. Tucker with the single through the right side drove in the first run. In the dirt for a ball.
I find a number of reasons to really like Preston Tucker in this lineup, and one of the reasons to this point is he's hit left-hand pitching really well. As a left-handed hitter, he's one of those guys you don't have to worry about putting in the lineup daily. .324 against left-hand pitching.
Off the plate, it's ball 2. It's being reported tonight by Evan Drellick of the Houston Chronicle that AAA outfielder Domingo Santana is headed from Fresno to Houston. Go to first base. Correa diving back in.
Is it possible that the Astros are in a position to cut with one of their pitchers? They've been going with a lot of guys. Domingo Santana has had some struggles when he's gotten big league opportunities, but he's tearing it up now at AAA.
Great numbers for Santana. He's been on base in 34 games in a row. 3 balls, no strikes.
You know what I mean, though, with this roster for the Astros? They've been going with that extra guy out of the bullpen for quite a while. Is it possible they could consider loading up the bench a little bit?
Sure.
Hard to say where they're going to go.
It is quite possible. Fresno beat Salt Lake yesterday 17-0. Strike, and it's 3-1 to Tucker.
Preston was about ready to shed that little shin guard, and he had a good reason for that.
Yeah. So the Astros winning 13-0 yesterday. Fresno won 17-0. Lancaster won 10-0. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Corpus Christi was rained out. Doubleheader today for the Hooks with Mark Appel pitching the first game. Automatic go for Correa, and it's ball 4. Tucker works the walk, the first of the game for Bettis. And quite a day in the Astros system with Alex Presley going 5 for 5, driving in 4. John Singleton has also been hot for a while now, 3 for 6, driving in a couple. Derek Fisher continues to rake for the Lancaster Jethawks, 3 for 5 with a homer, his 12th of the year. Fisher hit his 3rd grand slam of the season also. A.J. Reed with 3 hits. And Quad Cities split the doubleheader with Great Lakes.
Wow, what are you going to do with all this talent?
Can't keep them all down on the farm, Ash.
That's what the song says anyway.
Well, and they haven't been. They've been moving up. Now it's Evan Gattis batting. Gattis struck out in the first inning. Colby Rasmus is on deck. Jorge De La Rosa pitched a fine game yesterday for the Rockies, beating Miami with 7 innings. High pop, foul coming over Arenado. And apparently hit the roof, which means it's not playable anymore. Over foul ground anyway.
Love this guy's attitude. Don't hear him talking much. He just goes about business.
Yeah.
Not sure if you're allowed to wear a blue collar under that uniform top, but I guess if you were, he'd be wearing it.
One ball, 1 strike. Evidently, Chad Bettis' curveball tonight is not what it usually has been this season.
Or he's running up against a team that's starting to feel pretty good offensively.
True. Well, the way the Astros hit over the weekend, some confidence had to have been built. Out to center field for Blackman. In the second inning, the Springer home run is the second of the night for Houston. It's 5-0 Astros.
COL at HOU Days package is one of the best ballpark bargains around. Available for select Monday through Thursday regular season games. This offer scores you a ticket, hot dog, soda, and popcorn, all for just $16. Visit Astros.com/Coke Value or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. Guys?
Julia, we missed you over the weekend.
I missed you guys.
Julia was in Boston.
Boston?
No, I wasn't.
No?
Austin?
Boston.
Did you say Boston?
Oh, you said Austin.
I was in Austin.
Oh, I thought you were in. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. It's Boston Southwest. Raffaele Noah takes home.
Austin, Massachusetts.
Yeah. Are there any similarities between Austin and Boston that you could think of?
I don't think so.
No.
Not off the top of my head.
No.
I heard Ash threw me under the bus while I was
Oh, man.
He's been known to do that. Line drive to right field. Springer! George Springer lays out to Robbie Noah.
Wow. Starting to see some amazing baseball being played by the Astros right now. And George Springer, he is a defensive standout player ready to happen at all times. That's terrific reaction and then ability taken over. George Springer always steps in when I have to explain myself to Julia.
He got low to take that one away from you, Noah.
What I was trying to say
Yeah,
yesterday.
you're not getting out that easy.
What I was trying to say is Bart Ennis travels with a lot of fans all the time.
I don't know how to take that.
You're getting deeper and deeper into it all the time.
Did I get deeper right there?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, well, Julia has more fans than anybody in the world.
Cute little girl. Here tonight, walking the concourse as Nick Hundley bats. And Hundley swings for an 0-2 count to a .287 hitting Hundley with 5 homers, 20 runs batted in. But nice to have you back, Julia. And we know that you have been furiously making the rounds tonight, doing all kinds of taping of shows. Bases Loaded show coming up. That should be airing soon. And your pregame stuff. There's a strikeout. That's number 1. And you are watching the usual Keuchel gem as you return to work tonight.
I think Julia's shutting us out.
Yeah.
Never.
It's good to have you back, Julia.
Thanks, guys. It's good to be back.
Charlie Blackmon is the batter. He is the usual leadoff man. And he's hitting .265, 8 homers, 21 runs batted in, 8 doubles, 2 triples. Getting to use his legs. And there's strike 1 to Blackmon. Going to get Julia's opinion about interleague play because that's the only thing in town today and tomorrow. Everybody's playing in interleague play. All the various cities. 1 ball, 1 strike. It used to be more of a novelty. Interleague play started, what, about 97, Ash? Does that sound about right?
Sounds about right to me. You know what? In the format that it's played right now, and it's really Julia's turn to talk about it, but I don't mind seeing a little bit here and there.
My turn.
It's your turn.
Are we talking about Colorado and Denver?
Do you like interleague play?
I enjoy it, yes. I enjoy going to cities we don't get to see very often.
Yeah.
Denver being one of them.
Well, watch the altitude when you go for your run in Denver. You've been there before, right?
That's what I hear. Yes.
And also the allergies this time of year.
Oof. I remember the allergies got me a couple of years ago.
Rasmus moves over toward left center. It's fouled away, and it's 2 balls, 2 strikes.
You know who isn't so much of a fan of what's going on here is A.J. Hinch with the 2 games at home, 2 games on the road series with the team. Did you hear him talking about that?
No, didn't hear that.
No, I asked that question. It's a unique way of having a series in the middle of the season, and he responded with, "I don't love the schedule."
No.
That was maybe his way of dancing around it, but I think the travel. He said, we're lucky in that Denver's not one of our longer trips.
Well,
but that can be tough.
It can be, but also it's on the way to Seattle, at least.
This is true.
Still not a short flight.
It's kind of a gas up for the team, I think, isn't it? Just refueling.
Maybe. Foul ball back. The refueling also took place over the weekend when the Astros won 2 of 3. They had that 7-game losing streak and seemed to have put that right behind them. Rockies had an 11-game losing streak late April, early May. And that could be a death knell for a team's chances to compete in its division. But the Astros seem to have shrugged off that 7-gamer pretty well.
Especially in that division with the Dodgers and Giants playing well.
True. Ground ball foul. But now that, of course, the Astros moved to the American League a few years ago with 15 teams in each league, it sets up quite well in interleague play for a week like this one. Because there's always interleague play for somebody with this schedule. Marwin Gonzalez to his right. Throws low to Carter, who's over to snag it. 9 up, 9 down for Dallas Keuchel. At 5-0, Astros lead.
Up to bat here again. You know who has to be feeling good as he watches this Astros team is the hitting coach Dave Hudgens. Got a chance to catch up with him on just how he felt about the series this past weekend. I left this team on the road after the road trip where they had struggled offensively, and I asked Hudge what the difference was, and he said, you know, our chase percentage was way up on that road trip. People were just chasing for hits, started swinging at bad pitches, but we had a good game plan against Felix Hernandez. It started there, and from then on, they didn't chase as much. They were getting better pitches to hit, and of course that's where hitting is contagious. That's where that comes from. When everyone's doing it, everyone starts getting better pitches to hit, and of course they start stringing together some hits, guys.
Thanks, Julia. Colby Rasmus taking ball 1. Ripped the 3-run homer in the first inning. It's 2 balls, no strikes. Is hitting kind of like an upper respiratory infection, Ash?
Oh, it's much more enjoyable than that, Brownie. I
Okay.
assure you. But you know what? Once you start doing it, though, it can hang around for a while.
3-0 to Colby.
So maybe you're onto something there.
Rockies are shifted around, as you see. And in for a strike for Chad Bettis. 3 balls, 1 strike. The 13-0 win yesterday for the Astros tied their second largest margin in a shutout victory in their history. They beat Montreal in '98 15-0. 3-2. Carter and Valbuena to follow. That's strike 3. Rasmus looking back at Jerry Lane. Strikeout number 3.
Offensively, we know the Astros have picked it up here in the recent games, 3 against Seattle. In those games, 24 runs versus the 16 scored in 7 previous games. Batting average almost 100 points higher. On base even beyond that. And the slugging way up. Average with runners in scoring position. 0.85 in that recent road trip. And tells you a good reason why they were struggling so much.
That's ball 1 to Chris Carter, who hit a 2-0 pitch in the air to center field. Got under it just a little bit, but he had a good-looking swing. Now it's 1 ball, 1 strike. Rockies have had some injuries to their starting rotation, as if other teams have not, including Jordan Lyles, the former Astro. He's out for the rest of the season. Had an injury to his big toe on the right foot, and he's had to have surgery. Foul ball, 2-2. So Bettis was not on the big league club when the season started, but they have sent down 2 pitchers who were Eddie Butler and Tyler Matzik, as well as Christian Bergman, all option down. Three balls, 2 strikes now. And for the Rockies, of course, there's that age-old, year-after-year chore of trying to line up so many pitchers just to get through a season with the rigors of pitching half the games at Coors Field. Carter fouls it back.
And the question that goes with it, how much money do you spend on those guys? Do you get youthful guys that are kind of the backup possibilities for the club, or do you spend money on guys that have been around a little bit? Tough decisions.
After the first 20 games, the Rockies at home were 7-13, and their ERA was 5.60. Back in '95, the Blake Street Bomber era, the Rockies that year won 61% of their home games, and the team had an ERA at Coors Field of 6.17. So they overcame it.
Sounds like you can make pitching not matter.
They did that year. It's the second walk of the night for Bettis. And Carter has walked 35 times this season. 52% of his plate appearances have included one of the 3 true outcomes: a homer, a walk, or a strikeout. Only Jock Peterson of the Dodgers has a slightly higher percentage of true outcomes. Valbuena, the batter now. He hit a fly ball to right. I don't know why, but this 3 true outcomes has become a huge deal to a lot of people now, Ash.
I actually haven't gotten in on that.
No?
That notion of thought. I need to dig a little deeper on that one.
You mean back when you played for the Tribe, you guys didn't sit around the clubhouse and talk about the 3 true outcomes?
I was still trying to figure out how to figure out an ERA.
1-1.
Yeah, with Boog Powell, we sat there for hours talking about that.
You guys talked about plates of ribs back in those days.
Barbecue and true outcome.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Oh, how times have changed.
Frank Robinson would come in and ask us how we were coming on that evaluation of the offensive side of the game.
Oh, sure he would. Upstairs, 2-2 to Valbuena. Valbuena to right field. Barnes with the grab. 2 outs.
Looking for games on certain days of the week with giveaways, your favorite rivalries, or maybe a little of each. With the 14-game flex plan, you get to pick the games and seat locations that work best for you. Purchase your 14-game flex plan today by visiting Astros.com/tickets or calling 1-877-9-ASTROS.
Well, it's a good time to think about that. Marwin Gonzalez struck out in the 2nd inning. A lot of people can concentrate a little bit more on their summer schedules now that school is no longer in session. They strike 1 to Marwin.
I need to get back on the flex plan myself.
Do you?
Yeah.
Well, they have a good gym at the hotel in Denver.
I'm going to have to seek that one out, I think. That is nice.
Jeff Blum probably is already there working
I'm
out.
sure he is. I'll tell you who gets in there first is Julia.
No doubt. She didn't need a workout today. She got one once she got to the ballpark with all the running around she did.
Well, flying back from Boston and having to make it all work out, I'm sure that was tough.
Up the middle and a hit on through to center field for Marwin. Here's Carter going first to third, and the throw not in time. How about Chris Carter? Single for Marwin Gonzalez, first and third, 2 outs.
Yeah, Marwin needs to catch a few breaks. Did get a Crawford box home run the other day, but they come up on Marwin. He stays on top of it nicely. Just use that big part of the field right up the middle. Look at Chris Carter go. Run, Forrest, run.
Now the number 9 hitter, Jason Castro. He grounded to first in the second inning. That's 7 hits for the Astros. They began the night with a .236 team batting average. That is not a relevant statistic for them. They're strike one. They're 4th in the league in runs scored. People focus on the batting average. They're 4th in total bases.
It's all about the true outs. Or true at bats. What is it?
True outcomes.
True outcomes.
3 true outcomes.
Nice.
Ash.
Okay.
1-1. So you never drove the ballpark thinking, boy, I hope I can get 3 true outcomes tonight.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've taken Bill James to the yard.
You only really want 2 of the 3 true outcomes. The strikeouts won't do a whole lot for you.
So there's nothing true about popping up to the catcher, huh?
No, that's not a true outcome. And lining into a triple play is not a true outcome.
No wonder I was so dissatisfied with so many at bats.
1-2. George Springer's on deck. Castro strikes out. That ends the Astros' 3rd inning with no runs, 1 hit, 2 men stranded. 5-0 Houston after 3.
Houston Methodist helps us get to know true outcomes. And Dallas Keuchel, favorite player growing up. Ken Griffey Jr., current player you most respect. Mike Trout. Guilty pleasure song, I'm Not a Player by Big Pun. I couldn't agree more.
Strike one to DJ LeMahieu. He grounded to third as he led off the game on a full count. 9 straight Rockies have been retired by Dallas Keuchel. Marwin Gonzalez fields the roller and makes it 10 in a row for Keuchel.
You know, there are times when you get ground ball outs that are hit sharply. These have not been. These are just soft rollers to the infield.
True. Troy Tulowitzki grounded back to Keuchel in the second inning. The Braves lead the Red Sox 4-1. They're in the bottom of the 7th now at Fenway Park. The Braves have Williams Perez, their starter, going 6 innings, 5 hits, no runs tonight. He's now out of the game. And Rick Porcello started for Boston. Xander Bogaerts hit his 3rd home run. Ball 1 to Tulo.
Say, Brownie, why is it when I look up online 3 true outcomes that the first name I see is Rob Deere?
Is the definition of 3 true outcomes. Wow. 1 and 1 is Rob Deere's picture there by that description of the 3 true outcomes.
You can't see with the headlights going on so brightly.
Swing there makes it 1 and 2. Rob Deere struck out 180 some odd times one year, didn't he?
That's nothing for today's game.
No, you're right. But that was back in an era when it was really something.
You weren't supposed to strike out.
No. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes to Tulowitzki.
Apparently bunting back toward the mound was a better outcome than striking out then.
How many times do you think Stan Musial struck out on average?
Ooh. Stan and Joe DiMaggio, that elite core of players, not much.
3-2 now to Tulowitzki.
Those guys always contemplated their BABIP, though.
Oh yeah, sure they did. Tulowitzki had left hip surgery last August. He's been given some days off this year. Ground ball in the hole. Carlos Correa got in front of it and threw him out. Looked like he chased a pitch up high that might have been ball 4, but it's out number 2.
Keuchel's actually gotten a couple of ground ball outs on pitches up tonight.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the Rockies hitters are just completely off time on Dallas, but he's been very sharp here working into the 4th.
Well, here's a theory for you. As Arenado comes up, he grounded out earlier. 8 groundouts, 2 flyouts, 1 strikeout. You're taught with a pitcher like Keuchel, who has such downward movement, make him get the ball up. So when he gets the ball up, you tend to jump at a pitch that maybe isn't a good pitch to swing at because it's too far up.
You know, that's possible, but to the theory of make him get the ball up, if you went back to there's the changeup, by the way, you saw that grip that creates the ground ball. The changeup gets hitters in front, you roll over and you hit the ground ball regardless of where the pitch is if you don't stay back enough. But back to the theory, make him get the ball up. If he's throwing strikes as Dallas Keuchel did in the first couple of innings, painting the outside edge at the knees, you can try all you want to make him get the ball up. He's just going to keep getting ahead. I watched Roy Halladay do that as well as anybody in the game.
Good pitch, 1 and 2.
So eventually what hitters did was just try to start swinging early when they thought they could at least guess what pitch they were going to get.
Struck him out. That's 12 in a row set down by Dallas Keuchel. 2 of them via the strikeout and a bunch of ground balls, leading 5-0.
takes us inside the box score with George Springer, who is red hot. It's the way he started his night. He's getting the end of the bat on the ball, dunking it into right field. He got a curveball that stayed up, launched it to left field. Not a bad start to the night for George Springer, nor has it been a bad start to the month of June, where he's hitting over 400 now, 403 for the month. On base percentage sky high, a couple of dingers to go with it. Yeah, he's been flaring and line driving a lot of hits to right field, but now maybe he sees that breaking ball a little better and has the ability to launch it to left field.
403 this month for Springer. Ground ball, one big hop for Nolan Arenado. And one out for Chad Bettis here in the home fourth inning, trailing 5-0. Springer makes an out for the first time. Carlos Correa, like Springer, is 2 for 2, moving to the fourth inning here. It's been quite a whirlwind advance to the big leagues for Carlos Correa. Has a metal plate and 7 screws in his leg from the broken bone last year at Lancaster, sliding into third base. There's ball one. Then, of course, this year, lighting it up at Double-A Corpus Christi, advancing for about 80 at-bats or so to Triple-A Fresno before being tabbed by the Astros. There's a strike, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. So players have been moving quickly through the Astros system this year. Yesterday's Triple-A starter Mike Hochschild has been one of those who's moved up a couple of levels this year. 2 balls and a strike.
That doesn't at all harm the enthusiasm in the minor leagues.
Well, it doesn't harm the chances to sign players who were just drafted either. Sharply hit. Tulowitzki lays out, gets up, throws, and robs Correa. Tremendous play by Tulowitzki, diving to his left.
You know, people say sometimes that you come to the big leagues and you start seeing better pitching, better defense. Everything gets better and faster. Well, Carlos Correa sees a bit of that right here. This guy's done it a while. He just has not been able to stay healthy.
Preston Tucker had the RBI single in the first to make it 1-0 Houston. He walked in the second. And strike one. Bettis sinks it. We've been talking about the Astros' pursuit of a playoff spot. 1-1. And Fangraphs assesses chances for each team of making the playoffs at this point in the season. The Astros have the best chance, of course, in the division. Little pop-up into shallow left field. Might dunk in for a hit. Tulowitzki with a fine running catch on the backhanded side. Robs Tucker. And that's an 8-pitch fourth inning for Chad Bettis to keep the game 5-0 Houston through 4.
Geico quote of the day is A.J. Hinch talking about Lance McCullers and his performance yesterday, saying that wasn't the best we've seen of Lance, and that's a great sign when he can battle through his innings, get through 5 scoreless, hitless. If those are his bad days, it's a pretty good day. Lance with 5 no-hit innings, but he did have those 4 walks. And lots of deep counts for Lance yesterday. Even Hank Conker, who was catching him, gave him a B-. Lance told me that was probably being generous. But he did tell me that he was making pitches when he had to. It just wasn't a comfortable feeling knowing you don't have your best stuff. I got to ask you guys, Ash, what did you learn about this 21-year-old yesterday?
Yeah, I've been learning all along. And Julia, honestly, what I feel like I'm learning with Lance McCullers is that he's tough as nails. And with it, he's got great stuff. He's got the rare combination of the stuff and the makeup to be awfully good in this game. I saw a guy come up by the name of Dennis Eckersley. That's who Lance McCullers is kind of reminding me of with the combination of abilities.
Willian Rosario hit a fly ball to center in the second. That was ball 1. And Keuchel gets a foul ball there. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, with yesterday's game by McCullers, he came out after 5 innings of hitless baseball, as you mentioned. He walked 4 and he fanned 4. He had thrown 90 pitches through the 5. And by comparison, Dallas Keuchel here, 2 pitches into the 5th inning, is at 53 pitches. Has 8 ground ball outs. It's 2-1. Different style of pitcher, certainly, than Lance. Dallas is shooting for win number 8. He should certainly be an all-star. 1 hopper to Valbuena. That's 13 in a row set down by Keuchel.
And another one of those choppers to the infield. Dallas has something working really well.
Keuchel won 12 games last year and lost 9 with a 2.93 ERA. He could be 8-2 by the end of the night. Sonny Gray's the current ERA leader in the American League, with Dallas in 2nd place. Michael McHenry grounded out in the 2nd inning. Broken bat. Correa. 2 down.
I'm going to guess right now that Walt Weiss, the skipper of the Rockies, is a bit dazzled with what he's seeing from Dallas Keuchel.
Yeah. Well, a couple of nights ago, that was not the case. And the skipper, of course, for Seattle, Lloyd McClendon, was asked, well, it was after yesterday, I believe, with McCullers. Somebody asked him about the Astros pitcher, and he said, go ask them about their pitcher. Brandon Barnes grounded out earlier. There's ball 1.
Oh, that's direct.
Yeah.
Well, it was also, I think, Lloyd McClendon last year, when asked about Dallas Keuchel, said he was, I don't know,
oh, that's right,
something very uncomplimentary.
Yeah. So evidently he doesn't like discussing the other team's pitcher, which is not all that uncommon. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Baseball really doesn't do the bulletin board kind of motivation, but I think Lloyd could probably be pretty motivational.
Well, Lloyd's club left Houston with a record of 28-35.
Well, I think somebody better go ask the other manager about that.
1-2, and they have the distinct displeasure of taking on the San Francisco Giants on the road later tonight. However, the Giants, for some reason, have not been playing well at home lately. The appeal went to first. That's a strikeout. Barnes called for a swing at strikeout number 3, and that is 5 innings without Dallas Keuchel pitching out of the stretch. 5-0 Houston. by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. Dark skies outside. It's 5-0 inside. The Astros leading the Rockies. Bottom of the 5th inning has arrived for Evan Gattis, who's 0 for 2. He gets a curve from Chad Bettis, and it's strike one. By the way, I made a mistake on that Tucker pop-up in the last inning. It was caught by Nolan Arenado and not Troy Tulowitzki in left field because the shift was on for the Rockies. Good play by Arenado, though. Showed his excellent range.
Showed great instincts, I thought, as well on the play. Just reacted beautifully.
He looked like a shortstop on that run.
He did, and well, he just gets rave reviews on the defense.
Well, we've talked about it before, but not so much recently because we haven't seen the Rockies, have we? But we still talk about him. He reminds me a little bit of Scott Rowland.
Not quite as big a guy, but
no.
Yeah, that same type of reaction set of tools.
2-2. Gattis chasing the curve that bounces. He is one terrific player.
Okay, Brownie, I got to take you back to the 3 true outcomes. We've got Bill Dolly chiming in.
Well, Bill would know.
Yeah, he would.
A little flare out to second, played on a hop, and LeMahieu turns it into out number 1. What's Bill coming up with?
Doggy comes up with Dave Kingman, and I guess that would be one of the classic names. I'll give you some others. Jack Cust, Russell Branyan, Adam Dunn, my buddy.
Yeah. Homers, walks, and strikeouts. Yeah, Adam Dunn.
And then you've got kind of the flip side of all that. Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire, Jim Thome.
Well, Bonds didn't strike out all that much.
Walks and home runs, though.
Oh, yeah.
Vaulted him.
Yeah. Colby Rasmus with ball 1. What did Scotty say?
Mike Scott texted me, and he brought up one of his classic strikeouts through the years that nobody would remember other than us, but it was a swing by Joe Orsulak on a pitch that almost hit him, almost dropped him, and it was a strikeout. It made us laugh so bad on the field.
Rasmus rolls over on that one and fouls it. 2-1. Colby ripped a 3-run homer in the first inning, struck out looking in the third.
You know, when you see the catcher and pitcher somewhere near the mound and gloves are over the mouth, in our case it was just a lot of laughter going on, and then we settled back in.
You guys didn't do that then?
No.
What did you do to disguise your laughter then? 2-2.
Oh, I guarantee you we pulled that off there. Yeah.
Ball 3, and Rasmus has a full count with Chris Carter on deck. Orioles lead the Phillies 4-0. They're in the top of the 9th already. Wei-Yin Chen went the first 8 for Baltimore. Zach Britton's in there now. Matt Wieters hit his second homer. Popped up. Arenado comes over for it. 2 outs. Here is Mr. Arenado and the Gold Glove work that he does.
So he's already Mr. for you, huh? Just because he does this sort of thing?
He's king, Arenado.
Short hops on either side, throws on the run. Took his time and then threw on the run. Diving stops. He's been known to take on the tarp down the left field side and win. There it is.
That play.
Now, watch your lips with those cleats coming at you.
Strike 2, Chris Carter. Carter's 0 for 1 with a walk. Some of those plays looked a little bit like Scott Rowland. Kind of a big shortstop playing third type of guy.
I got to watch him a couple of years up in Toronto, and boy, he could play some third base for a big fella. Great reactions.
Carter takes a look at it. 2-1. The trade mill is spinning a little bit. Just still rumors, but of course Jonathan Papelbon with the Phillies is out there. Cole Hamels with the Phillies. Aroldis Chapman of the Reds. Johnny Cueto of the Reds. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Some of those may materialize. And it's a full count to Carter. Reds are slipping back in the standings now.
You like that time of year when you start kind of looking around trying to figure out what trades could take place?
Yeah. Struck him out. That's number 5. And Bettis has put the clamps on the Astros since the second inning, but Houston leads it 5-0 through 5.
Out of the office and see a ball game at Minute Maid Park with the Astros 9-inning lunch break tomorrow at 1:10 p.m. Purchase your tickets today by visiting astros.com/lunch break or calling 1-877-9-ASTROS. Brian.
Thank you, Julia. Look forward to that 1:10 start tomorrow. It's travel day for both these clubs. They'll both be heading for the same place, Coors Field. Rafael Noah comes up leading off the 6th inning. He is trying to become the first base runner in this game for the Colorado Rockies. He was robbed on a Springer diving catch in the 3rd. And there is ball 1 to the switch hitting left fielder. Valbuena's in tight at 3rd. And Carter shortened up a little bit at 1st as well. Noah is 27 years old from the Dominican Republic. He fouls it back. 1 ball, 1 strike. He had 67 at bats with the Rockies last year. Began his career in the Dodger organization in 2006. Well, we'll have Kyle Tucker on the air with us tomorrow night. 1-2.
Look at that changeup and the impact. Throw it as hard as you can. Let that grip do the job. Dallas has mastered that part of the game. In fact, he's turning this pitching performance tonight into, like he does so many nights, just an art form.
That's a foul ball. Kyle Tucker was in the cage taking his cuts alongside his brother Preston. There's A.J. Hinch with the hitting coach and the 2 brothers and the entire family there.
Yeah, I want to see this young man swing the bat. I'm enjoying watching Preston Tucker swing it.
And Dave Hodgins, the hitting coach, got an advanced look into the future when he saw Kyle get in there. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
It's a different world. You step into professional baseball after coming out of whether it be college or high school. You get to look at the best of the best all over.
Very exciting time for the Tucker family. Kyle was the 5th overall selection in the 1st round. Now 3-2. And Noah is trying to work his way on. Kyle Tucker's 18. He was the Gatorade Florida Baseball Player of the Year. Hit .484, 10 homers, 27 runs batted in his senior year at H.B. Plant High School. That's ball 4, and that's the first Colorado base runner tonight. Leadoff walk to Inoa.
And the pitch-by-pitch presented by Steel Dealers. We turn to Dallas Keuchel once again. This with Nick Hundley at the plate in the 3rd inning. When you start painting it well early in a ball game, you start taking advantage. Umpires will give you a little bit more as Dallas gets the first pitch. Then the swing is induced on number 2 and number 3. You just change speeds, drop it out of the strike zone, and you leave hitters with ultimately no chance to go back to the bench and think, I never saw a strike in that at bat.
Hundley comes up again. Rolls one up the first base line, and it goes foul. Strike 1 to Hundley. Keuchel gets the baseball and goes back to work. Hundley is 31 years old. Padres drafted him in 2005, and he signed as a free agent with Colorado in January. Played for San Diego and Baltimore last year. He's from Corvallis, Oregon. Hundley went to the University of Arizona and was the high school valedictorian in high school. There's a strike to him. It's no balls, 2 strikes.
All you can do at times is shake your head, because you're not seeing legitimate strikes. You're just seeing paint that may not even be on the mark.
Hundley backs away. Charlie Blackmon is on deck. It's 1-2. Rockies are 2nd in the National League in slugging and 1st in total bases. They have hit 70 homers. That ranks 3rd in the National League. But Walt Weiss's club quiet with the bat so far. Line drive toward the left field corner. That's their first hit. And here's a good play by Tucker to make it runners at 1st and 2nd. Inoa had taken the big turn. Couldn't get to 3rd base because Tucker came up with it cleanly, and now that's the first hit, and the applause is for the work of Dallas Keuchel with 5 perfect innings coming into this one.
And it's nice to hear from your home crowd, but now it's time to make sure you lock it down and don't let anything happen against you. That curveball actually stayed up a bit into a nice hitting zone. Generally speaking, you don't want that curveball working toward the inside corner.
Inoa was just hoping for a mistake of some kind. It didn't happen. Now Blackmon bats. He rolled out to Marwin Gonzalez at 2nd in the 3rd inning. There's strike 1. So we certainly encourage all the fans to cast their ballots for Jose Altuve for American League All-Star. You can go to astros.com/vote. Oh, 2. Back in 1957, the Cincinnati Reds had a bunch of All-Stars voted in by the fans. There was some kind of a ballot printed in the newspaper in Cincinnati with the Reds players' names already checked on it. So people would cut that ballot out of the newspaper and mail it in, and those votes counted. And the Reds starters were all swept in by that tide. And the commissioner at the time, Ford Frick, dropped 2 of those Reds players off the All-Star team and inserted 2 others on. Not suggesting that will happen again this year, but it's a similar situation. 1-2. Well, just imagine now the viewers across the country and across the world for that matter watching the All-Star game if there were 8 Kansas City Royals in the starting line.
I didn't know the Royals were playing tonight.
It's 2-2. Voting will end July 3rd. I believe each person is allowed to vote something like 35 times, depending on whether you can erase the cookies on your computer or not.
So, what do?
You vote often
Yeah.
and for the same guy. Struck him out looking. That's Out number 1, and Blackmon departs slowly with a comment over his shoulder for Jerry Lane.
Now, obviously, Blackmon didn't like this call. It's close, but it's not in the strike zone, and Dallas was never forced to throw a strike in that entire at bat. And when Dallas can do that, when he gets this type of call, you're going to be in big trouble as a hitter.
That's one big out, leading 5-0, and not wanting this to mushroom into a big inning with the top of the order coming up with LeMahieu. LeMahieu has grounded out twice. That's ball 1. He is hitting a lot more line drives this year. And Jeff Hewson, who does the analyst work for Rockies television on Root Sports, said he moved his hands back a little further in the beginning of the year, and that's worked quite well for LeMahieu. 2 balls, no strikes.
Back to the All-Star voting. What do you do to solve this whole issue? I mean, they're not going to take voting away from the fans entirely.
No.
But I'm not so sure you shouldn't have the American Idol judges jump in and have a little impact on the voting as well.
American Idol.
Or The Voice or whatever.
Well, they might do a better job than the job that's being done of selecting a second baseman for the American League so far.
You're not buying in?
No. 3-0 the count.
Yeah, I think maybe the players, maybe the coaches, I'm not sure who it is, but somebody else needs to get involved in the voting.
Well, and they do, but not for the starting lineup.
Yes, and that's really what I'm talking about.
Right. Yeah, that's a point. Strike, 3-1. And besides, he has nothing to do. He's stacking cups again tonight.
What is that all about?
Well, if he can stack cups, you can vote for him for the All-Star team. That's about creating something to do because he's not playing. Up the right field line, Springer goes for it. Springer lays out for it. He does it again. Tremendous catch by Springer. And that one saved extra bases and some runs in the inning, robbing LeMahieu.
So let me ask you something. Is George Springer going to find a way, if he continues to swing the bat well and play this kind of defense, to open up some minds and maybe make an all-star squad?
I think like that he will.
The guy is as good, yeah, you hate to say better than anybody because you want to stop and think about everybody playing in right field. But I've never seen anybody better playing in recent years.
He had more hang time than a Ray Guy punt.
Ooh, yeah. Don't hit that scoreboard up there either.
2 outs, and it's Troy Tulowitzki batting. He is grounded out twice. 10 ground ball outs for Dallas Keuchel. That was a big fly ball out thanks to Springer. Tremendous play by George. He's left his feet twice tonight with great results. He robbed Inoue in the 3rd inning, coming in with a dive.
I hope he has as much fun playing defense as the offensive side of the game. Everybody loves to hit. I'll tell you what, the athletic ability of this guy is so off the charts.
Well, we've had a Springer dinger and a single and 2 robbing catches tonight. It's the Springer show. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jerry would be jealous.
Jerry can't get on that program.
No. When's the last time you saw a Jerry Springer show without a fight on it, by the way?
I'm going to tell you, I've never watched the show.
Okay.
I'm expecting you to buy in.
Fly ball right field, and there's another Springer try. He can't make the catch. A run scores. RBI single by Tulowitzki, and it's 5-1. And Springer once again went flying through the air. Almost got it. Tulowitzki got his 34th run batted in. The fans are really into Springer's effort tonight.
And George is not happy with either himself or just simply the way this worked out. Wow. Play this game, young man. I wonder if there was any impedance on this play by just the thought that maybe Rasmus was going to be there.
That's the way it looked. For one step, maybe he thought Rasmus was going to dive for it, and he did not continue that all-out pursuit. For one step, maybe.
I really believe he thinks he should have made that play, but I'll bet you that came into play as well.
And then he put that burst on at the end. But yeah, that's the way it looked. Arenado looks at ball one. He's 0 for 2. Fouled away, and it's a 1 ball 1 strike count. Isn't it amazing how a player can make several sparkling plays in the same game? The ball just sometimes just seems to be out in one area of the field where one guy can have such a defensive impact on the game. Well, it's been that kind of a night for George Springer so far.
We haven't even seen him have a need to throw yet.
2-1 for Keuchel. Astros 13-5 in their last 18 home games. Keuchel misses. Castro coming up with ball 3. Only Sonny Gray has a better WAR in the major leagues among pitchers than Dallas Keuchel. 3.9 wins above replacement for Dallas Keuchel. Batting average against him is 195. Liner into left. That's a hit to drive in run number 2. Arenado gets his 50th RBI. 5-2 Astros.
I don't know that you can say anything has certainly bothered Dallas, but oftentimes giving up that first base runner, that first hit, will have an impact on a pitcher. It's the two-seamer. He's trying to get the sinking action, and it hung up and actually came back toward the heart of the plate.
Brent Strom, the pitching coach, is at the mound after Arenado's RBI single. That's the third hit to go with a walk in this inning, and then there was the Springer play. So the Rockies, for the first time tonight, are making some solid contact. Well, the Astros, though, on this homestand have really found the early inning success formula. They had an 8-run first Friday night. Yesterday, a 3-run first, and tonight 4 more. 15 first inning runs in 4 games on this homestand. Willeen Rosario, it's a ground ball on to second, and there's the forced play from Valbuena to Gonzalez. Springer's play really had a defensive impact. LeMahieu with a bid for extra bases into the right field corner. Springer dives and takes it away, 5-2.
and it's time for our progressive fan of the game. I'm with David up here in the club section, and David drove 8.5 hours from Lubbock to be here. So you're obviously an Astros fan, but I did say Lubbock. You know the pitcher for the Rockies is from Lubbock and was a Texas Tech guy. You go to Texas Tech medical school. Is there like some ulterior motive here going on here? Are you really here for the Astros or for him?
Nope. And even then, Gigamags, because that's where I went to undergrad. So
I had to mess with you a little bit. Well, what brings you out? I know you're with some friends, but making that long drive, what brings you here?
I took a big test a couple weeks ago. I have a couple weeks of freedom before school starts back up. Grew up an Astros fan. My dad grew up in Pearland, so he raised me an Astros fan. Love baseball. So whenever I get a chance, try to come down here. And I was here earlier with my family, and so, just really like the Astros, and here with my friends. But
you're having a good time. Enjoy the game, and thanks for making the drive down here. 8.5 hours, guys. I would have flown.
That's a long drive. Thank you, Julia. Christian Friedrich is in the game in relief. Chad Bettis in 5 innings, allowing the Astros 7 hits, 5 runs with 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. Valbuena, the batter, taking strike 1, and now it's no balls, 2 strikes. Luis twice has flied to right field in this game. Friedrich was a first-round pick of the Rockies in 2008. He was the 25th player drafted that year. He's from Evanston, Illinois, and Eastern Kentucky University. Pitches outside, and it's 1-2 for Christian Friedrich. One of 2 lefties in the bullpen. The other is Boone Logan. He's 0-1 with a 4.50 ERA in 27 games.
He's very glad he's not pitching against the Dodgers tonight.
How so?
18 ERA against the Dodgers, 2.99 against the other clubs.
Okay, wasn't looking at that line. Swing by Valbuena, and it's in the dirt, and the strikeout is completed. Hundley throwing to Rosario, 1 out. That was the old Phil Rizzuto line. When he would be scoring a game, and Bill White was doing Yankee telecast with him, and White would leave the booth for an inning and come back. And
WW?
Yeah, he would look at Scooter Rizzuto's scorecard, and he'd see all these WWs on there. By these, what does that mean? WW. Scooter said, wasn't watching.
That is classic.
Marlon Gonzalez is 1 for 2.
Yeah, he was a leader.
Strike 1 to Marwin. Anibal Sanchez twirled up a gem tonight for the Tigers, a 2-hit shutout of Cincinnati and a 6-0 Detroit win.
They need him. He wasn't sharp at all when the Astros saw him recently.
JD Martinez hit his 13th long ball for Detroit. Tigers now have regained the services of Justin Verlander. They're 34-30. A swing and a pitch in the dirt takes the count to 0-2. Toronto and the Mets are tied 2-2. They're in the bottom of the 9th. A Toronto long winning streak on the line. 11 games. 1-2. What a different Blue Jay club than the one we saw a few weeks ago. The one you and Blummer saw in Toronto, though, is the one everybody's been seeing for a while now. During their 11-game winning streak, Ash, they've scored at least 4 runs in every game.
Had that amazing 9th inning comeback victory against the Astros. That was a real gut wrencher for Houston.
Gonzalez strikes out. Number 2 for Friedrich.
Celebrate Father's Day early by bringing Dad to the ballpark tomorrow with the Astros special Father's Day ticket promotion. Select seats will be offered at a reduced rate of $20 per ticket. For more information, visit astros.com/Father's Day or call 1-877-9-ASTROS.
Jason Castro steps up. He's grounded out and struck out. Mark Burley pitched tonight for Toronto. They're in the 10th inning now, tied with the Mets 2-2. Burley and Thor, Noah Syndergaard, both pitching well tonight. Thor struck out 11 and walked 2 in 6 innings.
Bet he had a good hammer.
No balls, 2 strikes. Jose Bautista's hit a pair of home runs, giving him 13. Tampa Bay shutting out Washington. It's 6-0 Rays. Bottom of the 8th. There was a rumor that Washington might be interested in trading for Aroldis Chapman.
I guess.
Duh.
Yeah, however, they want Bryce Harper for him.
Okay.
That'll slow down the negotiations
A little bit.
Guy's saying, so Brownie sits right there.
Struck him out, and Friedrich struck out the side. After 6, it's 5-2 Astros. The 3-run homer in the first. George Springer a solo shot in the second, accounting for 4 of the 5 Houston runs. But the game started for the Astros in the home first with Springer, Correa, and Tucker singling off Chad Battis. Dallas Keuchel got the early lead. He was perfect through 5. Then he walked the leadoff man, Noah, gave up 3 singles and 2 runs in the 6th inning. And that game could have been a lot closer had it not been for the diving catch by George Springer up the right field line on DJ LeMahieu's drive. Now in the 7th inning, it's Mike McHenry to lead it off. McHenry 0 for 2. LaTroy Hawkins, the former Astro, is warming up in the Rockies pen. Dallas Keuchel delivers ball 1. Keuchel had a 30-pitch 6th inning to get him to 91 for the night. Now it's 2-0. The Rangers are leading the Dodgers 4-0 at the end of 6 in Arlington. They just got 4 in the 6th.
Butch Cassidy has just looked back and said, who are these guys?
Yeah. Well, the Dodgers are such a good team, and the Rangers have been surprising so many people for a while now. That series will be watched by a lot of folks. 3-0 now to McHenry. That's a 4-pitch walk, so the 2nd straight inning in which the leadoff man has walked against Keuchel.
Our pitch by pitch is presented by Steel Dealers. Once again, we go back to the 5th inning. Brandon Barnes at the plate. Dallas Keuchel on the hill. Does Dallas have to throw a strike? No, he doesn't start with one, and then he brings a pitch off the outside edge by a wide margin, gets the call. So you don't have to throw a strike. He stays under the strike zone. And for strike 3, a little check swing, and I'm not sure Brandon went on that check swing, but he's punched out, and again, Dallas never had to throw a strike.
Ball 1 to Brandon Barnes. 0 for 2 tonight. Got a chance to visit with him briefly. He now has a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. Will Harris is warming up for Houston. LaTroy Hawkins for Colorado.
And Brandon has time to play this game.
Boy, does he play it with a passion. 1-1. We have seen him sacrifice his body many times, just the way George Springer has tonight. Barnes made a diving catch in foul territory outside the left field line in yesterday's Rockies win. Foul ball, 1-2. Brandon has spent some time in the minor leagues this year. He and Jordan Lyles were traded after the 2013 season by the Astros for Dexter Fowler. The Astros drafted Barnes in the 6th round in 2005. He won the Astros Heart and Hustle Award in 2013. Last year, Brandon swung at nearly 60% of the pitches he saw. And he hit .257 a year ago. Punched out to second base. There's Marwin. Backhanded flick. Carlos Correa safe at first. Tremendous play by Marwin Gonzalez, who somehow picked it up on a short hop as he was falling down and made that long backhanded flip to Correa to get McHenry.
Yeah, and that was a gutsy flip. Watch how he comes up with this, and now from that position flips it not on the money. That took Carlos Correa toward the right field side, and he tried to come up with a miracle. Chris Carter maybe saves an errant throw right there, but yeah, that's really great work by Marwin, who just gets a nice job done wherever you put him.
Now lefty Joe Thatcher is working for Houston in the bullpen. Rafael Inoa the batter. Inoa walked and scored in the 6th. He's 0 for 1. Runner on a delayed steal attempt. Here's Marwin throwing back to Carter and safe. Well, Barnes took off and then he stopped and went back the other way. That was exciting.
Number 1, Dallas Keuchel is nearly impossible to run on, and I don't know if this is a hit and run involved right here, but that was going to be thrown out by about 30 feet at second base.
Yep.
And number 2, Jason Castro has been throwing great.
Barnes got back. Pitch was strike 1 to Inoa. And it's 0-2 now for Dallas. Giovanni Gallardo is pitching the shutout for Texas. 4-0 in the top of the 7th over the Dodgers. Foul away, still 0-2 to Inoa. Hundley's on deck. Keuchel at the century figure +1 on pitches thrown tonight.
And probably last inning for Dallas.
In the dirt. 1-2. Rick Stogsdill is right below us, roaming around with that heavy camera. He does not work out if he's going to be running camera during one of our games.
What is he shooting? He's wasting precious time here.
Two balls, 2 strikes. That's one of our new toys here at Root Sports. The RF, what does that stand for? Radio frequency camera? He doesn't need a cable for it.
Really functional camera.
He can roam all over the place. Carter steps on the bag, throws to Correa. Wow, that was a tough throw to handle. It came right out of the sliding base runner, Barnes. He was able to catch it, but Barnes is safe at second on out number 2.
Carter may have taken one too many steps there at the bag. He may have been searching for the bag to make that happen. But he's been good on this play, and he's been good overall at first base. That throw, however, when it gets in behind the runner, you leave that infielder, in this case Correa, really searching to find the baseball. And you could see Carlos probably didn't see that at all at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wondered if Chris might have been able to get his foot on the bag as he was catching the ball. It's pretty athletic just coming up with that throw.
You bet it is. Nick Hundley's the batter now. Hundley 1 for 2. Pick off at second, and Barnes is back. Jason Hayward, the right fielder for the Cardinals, caught a ball a couple of days ago when he was falling down.
Lights, sun?
One of the two, it appeared. Not sure which, but well, it probably it was probably a day game, so we'll not say lights. We'll say sun. There's a strike.
Now, that's not the full list of unis.
No. It has a quorum, though, at least.
Yes, he does.
Liner over third and into the left field corner. That makes it a 5-3 game. Hundley into second base, and the Rockies come back. Hundley gets his second hit of the night, double number 9 of the season, his 21st run batted in to pull the Rocks within 2, and A.J. Hinch is walking out.
Really felt like all Astros through the early part of the game. Dallas Keuchel rolling along, had not allowed a base runner as he worked it into the 6th inning, and the Astros offense got it jump started early. But here come the Rocks.
Right off the end of Hundley's bat, it went inside the left field line. It's been so tough to get an extra base hit off Keuchel this season. That's only the 13th extra base hit he's allowed all year. And that hastens the bullpen move to Joe Thatcher. The fans love Dallas Keuchel's work tonight. He was perfect for 5. He leaves with a 5-3 lead in the 7th. The 6th, one here in the 7th inning. Our AT&T call to the bullpen brings in another lefty. Relief pitcher Joe Thatcher comes in with lefty hitting Charlie Blackmon coming up. A runner at second and 2 outs in the inning. Ash.
Kind of intriguing, this call, and I don't know what AJ was working with in terms of what he saw with Dallas Keuchel, but he goes lefty to lefty now to face the left-handed bat of Charlie Blackmon. And I will say this, Joe Thatcher makes it really tough angle-wise, you would think, on left-hand hitters.
And in case you're wondering, for Walt Weiss, there are 4 bench players, all of them batting left. He does not have a right-handed pinch hitter available, so here's Blackmon 0 for 2. Time called. So, you know, with this move, AJ knows he's going to have percentages in his favor. That's something that is not always the case at this point in a ball game. That's strike one for Joe Thatcher. Blackman is grounded out and struck out looking. He's hitting 154 against lefties. Thatcher worked one scoreless inning yesterday, gave up a hit. Breaking pitch outside, evens the count at 1-1. McCullers went 5 hitless and came out after throwing 90 pitches yesterday. Tony Sipp worked the 6th, and lefty hitting Kyle Seager got a single in the 7th off Thatcher, but then he retired the next 3. That's in for a strike, and it's 1-2. This Astros bullpen with a 2.69 ERA as the second lowest ERA in the American League.
I'm not sure that pitch or a number of pitches tonight have actually hit the strike zone, but it is a pitcher's night in terms of the calls.
In the air to right field, George Springer awaits for out number 3. 1-run scoring on 1 hit. The Rockies close the gap some. It's 5-3 Houston at 7th inning stretch time.
Power player tonight so far. No question. George Springer took a curveball and launched it for a home run. That his second hit of the night after hitting one to right field. He's already made this tremendous diving play in right field. Now this is the one that was so sparkling toward the line and crucial in the game. Game within maybe an inch or so of making another in right center field. George Springer is having a big night.
And it might need to get a little bit bigger because now it's a 2-run lead. 5-3, the Astros lead it. Rockies have retired the last 10 Astros as the starter Chad Bettis settled down. And then Friedrich out of 1-2-3 6th. Christian striking out the side to make it 10 straight Astros retired. Now the former Astro, the aging veteran, what a great guy, LaTroy Hawkins in 9 games. 1-1 with a 7.88 ERA, announcing his retirement at the end of the season. He made his debut in '95. Carlos Correa had been born just a few months earlier.
I would probably go with ageless, the way he's just gone on and on with this great career.
He's pitched for 10 teams. Now it's Springer 2 for 3. And Hawkins delivers strike 1.
It's still at 93.
He just came off the disabled list Thursday with a right bicep strain. Springer's average continues to climb up to 265 now. George in the air to right center field. A long run for Blackman, and this one soars into the bullpen. Second Springer dinger of the night. Home run number 10 of the year for George Springer. That's 23 runs batted in, and it is 6-3 Houston.
It's also the second breaking ball of the night that he has launched out of the yard. Curveball stayed up. He took it out to left field. This time a slider out over the plate and stays on it and rams it to the bullpen. Watch him stay on this. That slider hangs up. Doesn't even take what you call the big swing, but he is so strong.
3 homers for the Astros tonight. Second career multi-home run game for George. He had one May 24th last year. Now Carlos Correa looks at ball 1.
I thought he was recently referred to as the former power hitter.
He was. Cancel that. Correa's 2 for 3. Well, the point being, he has made a lot better contact. Broken bat looper over first into right field. Correa will take the turn, and Brandon Barnes hustles over to hold him to a single. Correa's 3rd hit, his first Major League 3-hit game.
Have you seen enough of George Springer? I didn't think so.
No.
See that slider trying to break? It's not doing much with it.
He
but
helped it.
You know what? George, and we talked about it with the way he's been staying back and hitting balls to right field and some to center field. Now he's got a chance on some of those breaking balls to be right on it. He's not swinging and missing much at all.
Who made the catch out there? Pat Neshek? Good grab by Pat as he was warming up. Now here is Tucker. Preston with an RBI single. 1 for 2 with a walk. And a look over at first base by LaTroy Hawkins, who's now 42 years old. LaTroy, a native of Gary, Indiana, lives in Frisco, Texas. He was drafted by the Twins in '91 in the 7th round. Pitched for them for many years. Pitched 57 times last year for Colorado. That's the 4th multi-home run game this season by an Astro, by the way.
You might want to check that, Brownie. That would be 24 years ago he was drafted by those numbers.
Boy, okay, that's got to be erroneous. He couldn't have been around that long. Well, upon further review, yes. He was here in 08 and 09. Had a really good year for the Astros in 09 with a 2.13 ERA for 65 appearances.
If he does well, he's got a chance to stick.
In for a strike to Tucker. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Royals lead the Brewers 7-2 in the top of the 7th at Milwaukee. Lorenzo Cain, who's probably going to be an all-star, hit his 5th home run.
Is this guy going to be an all-star?
Preston Tucker?
Well, give him some time. George Springer may not need much time.
Oh, that guy. 1 and 2.
Yeah, that guy.
Well, there's still a few days for voting, right? It's not a done deal yet. The southern precincts may come in strong in the next couple of weeks. Tucker is a strikeout victim. That's out number 1. 9th strikeout for Colorado pitching tonight. Evan Gattis has not been able to join in this hit parade. 9 hits for the Astros tonight. He's 0 for 3. Kansas City is trying to go 10 games above 500 with a win tonight at Milwaukee. Fouled away, strike 1. There was a story about the All-Star voting with all the Royals leading today in USA Today. And several of the Royals players were saying, hey, it's not our fault. And they say, well, you know, some players have over 4 million votes. Those can't all be coming from Kansas City.
Are you sure?
Well,
let's see. I don't know what the population is, but 35 per.
Yeah, that's the whole issue. Whatever happened to the one man, one vote concept?
That went out with Jim DeShays.
All right.
Yeah, I'd be good with that, actually. Jim DeShays and one vote per person.
Okay. Well, Jim DeShays got one vote for the Hall of Fame.
That's something.
From John Lopez. Fouled away, and it's 0-2.
I thought the voting was supposed to remain anonymous.
Well, in many cases it is, but he's already said that he cast the vote.
He ignored my feeble stuff.
It's great to have the fans involved, though. It's 1-2. Would it make sense to have a system with the fan vote counting for maybe 1/3 and the player vote for 1/3 and maybe managers and coaches for 1/3?
Yeah, that falls in that category of what I was talking about. I wonder how much of the fan vote would drop off at that point.
Hard to say. Throw goes over to first.
Not like that really matters to me. You know, in giving the fans 35 votes or whatever it is per individual, you know, it's just a way to make it look impressive with 4 and 5 and 6 million total votes for a guy.
There's no longer voting in the stadium. No more hanging chads. Runner going. There's a shot on the ground. Off the glove of Arenado. Here's Tulowitzki recovering. And he gets Gaddis. A 5-6-3 play for out number 2 with Correa moving to second. Good recovery by Tulowitzki.
That was a nice recovery. It's just diving effort. The ball just immediately comes off the glove of the third baseman. You have to figure if you're Evan Gaddis, you got yourself a knock. And then you get about 10 feet to first base and the ball beats you.
Colby Rasmus ripped a 3-run homer in the first. He's 1 for 3. Rasmus takes a look at it, and it's ball 1. Well, the fans are really having a good time at these games this year.
Is doing the wave having a good time?
For some. Okay. 21,820 are doing the wave right now.
What if they were enabled to vote here? Maybe that would cut down on the waves.
It might stop that in a hurry. One ball and 1 strike.
I wondered where those polling booths had gone in recent years, though.
Foul back. Altuve has 4,209,000 votes. Omar Infante has 4,518 votes.
Jose is saying, I've got him right where I want him.
I meant Infante has 4,518,000. Altuve 4,209,000. So it's about 300,000 votes. The lead that Infante has over Altuve.
Now we get to see Jose maybe get it back in action tomorrow.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Colby Rasmus. The Astros with another multi-home run game, and they have not lost when they hit multi-homers in a long time. 23-0 this year, 29-0 dating back to last year.
You know, that looked really good. You see a catcher actually run out to the mound.
Yeah, he did. He ran out.
What is going through the mind of George Springer right now? Because he's in one of those moments where he's starting to make the game look easy.
We'll have to think for a while to compare the way he's retooled his approach to somebody else maybe. 3-2. He was taking such big all or nothing swings, really a high bat speed approach, and he's just toned everything down. He's notched it back.
Of course, I'll also say that when you make contact, the swing never looks as hard as when you swing and miss.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to guess there was a lot of bat speed involved in that home run to right center field.
Sure, had to be. Popped up, and this will be out of play till 3-2. What is the average bat speed on a home run swing, do you think, in the major leagues?
Yeah, I could only take a guess. It's not like PGA where they've got lasers and everything going and determining head speed, but I would guess in that 100-mile-an-hour range. I don't know that you can get the barrel of the bat going quite like you can the head of a golf club. Maybe a little less than 100.
Right. Chris Carter's on deck.
I think Dave Hudgens is calculating that figure right now.
He would know. I think you're right. I think it's in the 95 to 100 mile per hour range on a lot of the home run swings. Rasmus has worked a walk. 3rd walk for Rockies pitching tonight.
Watch every out-of-market game live or on demand in True HD on over 400 mobile and connected devices. And you do it with MLB.TV Premium. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking, and more. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for your details. See, you can get along.
Yeah. Even with different lids on.
That's right.
Chris Carter's 0 for 2 with a walk. Valbuena's on deck. There's ball 1. Rockies bullpen has a 4.57 ERA. The Orioles shut out the Phillies 4-0 tonight. Pirates bombed the White Sox 11-0. Carter takes it. It's 2-0, and another shutout went to the Tigers 6-0 over the Reds. The Marlins beat the Yankees 2-1. Indians and Cubs postponed in Chicago. It's always a matter of concern making up interleague postponements. In the air to right. Barnes coming in. And the Astros on a Springer home run get a run on 2 hits. They strand 2, moving to the 8th. It's 6-3 Houston.
Our pitching performance is powered by Kubota and Dallas Keuchel in a bid for his 8th win on the year. 6 2/3 innings tonight, 13 ground ball outs. Nobody does it better than Dallas Keuchel. And a lot of just weak ground ball outs early in his performance. Took a not only no hit, but perfect game bid into the 6th inning. It got away, and then things kind of cratered a bit for Dallas. But boy, what a gem he twirled again tonight, trying to win number 8.
That's his 25th straight start of at least 6 innings. Longest stretch in the majors alive right now. Pat Neshek is 3-0 with 1 save at 2.82 ERA in 26 games. He's in for the 8th inning and throwing strike 1 to DJ LeMahieu, who's 0 for 3. Joe Thatcher retired the only man he faced, Charlie Blackmon. And he gets a hold tonight because the score was 5-3 when he came in. Bouncer Neshek. 1 out.
You see those numbers on Pat Neshek?
Yes.
Not to mention the nice little defensive play there, but 10 strikeouts per walk.
That's hard to match.
Put some leather on it.
Yeah, he has put together a fabulous run early season, as have many of his bullpen mates. Troy Tulowitzki drove in a run with a single in the 6th. He's 1 for 3. Neshek in his most recent outing allowed a 2-run homer to Jose Abreu Wednesday at U.S. Cellular in Chicago. There's ball 1. And that's one of the rare blemishes on his pitching lines for the year. That was when he gave up only his 2nd walk of the year. He set a club record. He started the year with 24 consecutive games without a walk. Somebody made a play. 1-1. All kinds of good plays here tonight.
Yeah, for Pat Neshek, that ability to not walk hitters with that unusual delivery of his. Maybe this is how the pitching coaches in the minors will start teaching it.
1-2. It works well for him. It started with an injury when he was hitting the arm and had a problem throwing overhand. And it's worked out extremely well.
It's not quite the Billy Wagner tale.
No.
Breaking the left arm, or the right arm rather, early in life. And okay, well then I'll do it left-handed.
That's amazing, isn't it? And then there are the switch pitchers we've been reading about.
What's that guy's name with the Oakland A's?
Pat Venditti. He came up and he's on the disabled list right now, but he's a switch pitcher.
You have to injure both arms to go on the DL when you're him?
Not really, but it's kind of interesting. You could still pitch with the other arm, right? Maybe it's a leg injury. We don't know. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Guy had hurt arm.
Okay.
And if that's the case, apparently they believe he better have both arms ready to go.
Well, it's helpful when switch pitching. And there was another guy who was drafted as a switch pitcher. Struck him out number 2.
Tomorrow's pitching matchup is presented by Chevron. Care for your car. Yeah, it's going to be Vince Velasquez's 2nd major league start now as he runs it out there for the Astros. By the way, he runs it up there to the plate about 95 to 97, plus rumors of 100 miles an hour in the minor leagues. On the other side, it'll be Chris Russin for the Rockies, and he's only made 3 starts, so it's a battle of the youngsters tomorrow.
Nolan Arenado with strike 1 is 1 for 3. Julia Morales is busily voting, and she's erasing the cookies on her computer.
I'm voting for Altuve.
Good. How many votes have you cast tonight?
Oh, I feel like you can vote a lot. What did it say? Up to 30-something times?
I think that's right. We might be making that up, but I think I read that somewhere, Julia.
Well, I'm up there.
Well, go for it. Who is your precinct captain, by the way?
Wait, what did I miss? I'm voting and I missed something.
Well, you missed a 1-3 and a KC so far. If all you've missed is the top of the 8th inning.
Okay.
But if you've been it'll take us a while if you've been voting since the 3rd.
No, I just got started.
Okay, well,
I'm trying to be a team player down here.
Tell you what, if you're due to do a post-game interview, one of us will come down so you can just keep voting.
Okay, sounds good. Will you get Springer for me?
Well, no ice buckets, though, are allowed if we have to do your job. Because
they might get Springer with ice.
They might get him.
Yeah, I get the impression Julia doesn't even know what precinct she's in. So.
Chopper over the mound. Here's Correa closing on it. Gunning to first. And he gets Arenado. That's a 1-2-3-8 for Neshek and company. The Astros lead it 6-3.
Treat your employees, host clients, or bring out your church or youth sports team to Minute Maid Park with Astros group tickets. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com/groups to enjoy special pricing and great benefits by reserving your group today, guys.
Thanks, Julia. It's a good way to enjoy a game, and you don't have to wear the same shirts, but they are. Very nice looking pattern. Boone Logan is one of 2 lefties in the bullpen. The other one has already pitched, Christian Friedrich. Logan is 0-2 with a 4.95 ERA. He comes in for the 8th.
Boone has been laying it on the left-handed batters, hasn't he? 103 batting average against.
Very good number. He was drafted by the White Sox in 2002 and pitched 35 times last year for the Rockies. He's from San Antonio, lives in Helotes, Texas, and he went to Temple College. Valbuena is 0 for 3. The shift is on. Marwin Gonzalez on deck. Jason Castro due up third. There's strike one. In 11 innings, the Mets ended the Blue Jays' 11-game winning streak and beat them 4-3 in New York. John Gibbons is a native of San Antonio. He is the skipper of the Blue Jays. He has not tasted defeat in a while.
Spectacular guy.
It doesn't taste very good, does it?
No, it's tough to take, but after 11 consecutive wins, I think you can probably take a swallow without grimacing.
Fly ball out to right center field. Here's a long run for Blackman. Blackman reaches up. That's a good running catch. 1 out.
This moment in history is brought to you by M.D. Anderson. 39 years ago today, the Astrodome endured a rainout when massive flooding in the Houston area prevented the umpires from making it to the game. After the game is called off, the Pirates and Astros players who had arrived early for batting practice shared their clubhouse meal on the field with a few diehard fans who would brave the elements hoping to see a ball game. Kumbaya was sung by all.
And thanks to Mike Acosta for providing those photos. Marwin Gonzalez is 1 for 3. Showing Bud, he takes ball 1.
So that flooding really timed up with what apparently could be a lot of rain overnight and tomorrow, huh?
Well, we're looking on the radar and we don't see anything right now
coming apart
above Houston, but it's in the Gulf, correct?
It's my understanding coming this way.
Wanted. Logan throws him out. 2 down. However, it could veer over into Victoria. So stay tuned.
You know, the bottom line is you hope none of the folks affected previously are harmed by this, or anybody for that matter.
Yes, definitely. By the way, we did get this bit of information. There's no school tomorrow. But that has nothing to do with the weather.
You're still going to run with that one, huh?
Yeah. Jason Castro's 0 for 3.
Just because you got me doesn't mean you can get everybody out there.
That's ball 1. Have you noticed during your trips the last few days to the ballpark, no school buses?
You know, I've just noticed that it continues to take forever to get to the yard. You leave in the wee morning hours, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Bouncer to second. LeMahieu is waiting for Rosario to get back to first. Now he tosses to him. It's a 1-2-3 8th inning. We move to the 9th, 6-3 Houston. Baseball on Root Sports is presented by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by Budweiser, making a plan to make it home. As you make a plan to make it home, check the skies tonight. Seems to be all right at the moment. We go to inning number 9, and it is Luke Gregerson, the Astros closer, coming in. It is a safe situation, a 3-run lead with 1 inning to go. The 4, 5, 6 hitters due up for the Rockies, Rosario, McHenry, and Barnes. We could see some pinch hitting. Gregerson is 2-1. He's 15 for 17 in saves.
Not bad to be on a ball club that wins when you're the closer. Tied for 6th in the American League in saves. And you can also see that Luke Gregerson has been really good in that strikeout to walk ratio.
Pat Neshek just got his 17th hold with that 1-2-3 8th inning with a punch out. Now the pinch hitter is Ben Paulson to get a left-handed hitter up there. Walt Weiss is pinch hitting for right-handed hitting Willeen Rosario with Paulson. Paulson's hitting .295, 5 homers, 11 runs batted in for 78 at bats. There's strike one for Gregerson. Paulson is 1 for 4 as a pinch hitter. Gregerson throws high, and it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Luke pitched Saturday just to get in some work in the Astros 8-1 loss to Seattle. He had a hit this inning. Paulson falls behind him 1-2. Paulson came up from Albuquerque May 19th.
Look at this one dive. Straight downward.
Paulson was a 3rd-round pick in 09. Sharp single through the right side, and Paulson is aboard, leading off the 9th inning with a pinch hit. Michael McHenry follows. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. Looks like Corey Dickerson is in the on-deck circle to pinch hit for Brandon Barnes. Walt Weiss is going to call on his left-handed hitting firepower off the bench here down to his final at bat. Gregerson had that tough game in Toronto 8 days ago, a blown save and a loss in the 7-6 Toronto comeback, giving up 4 hits and 3 runs in 1/3 of an inning. There's strike one. Thatcher and Neshek got 4 outs in a row after Dallas Keuchel departed. Jake Marisnick is the center fielder with Colby Rasmus in left. Dustin Tucker's come out of the game. That's a strike. No balls, 2 strikes to McHenry. Gregerson had 9 saves in the month of May. That was tied for 3rd in the American League that month. Fly ball, Springer in right. 1 down.
And now our Mako big hit of the ball game. Let's go back to the 1st inning. Colby Rasmus at the plate. And this fastball didn't survive long. Colby Rasmus, for a 2nd straight ball game, has the big swing, a 3-run bomb that came in the 1st inning, made it 4-0 quickly Houston. And boy, those big 1st innings come in handy.
Now pinch hitter Dickerson batting for Brandon Barnes. Barnes was 0 for 3. Corey Dickerson, a .306 hitter, has 5 homers, 16 runs batted in 121 at bats. And pinch hitting this season, he is 0 for 4. He's been bothered by some plantar fasciitis, so needs to be rested from time to time. That painful foot problem. He looks at it, and it's ball 1. Dickerson's 26. He was an 8th-round pick of the Rockies in the 2010 draft. He's from Macomb, Mississippi. He aggravated that plantar fasciitis during the previous series in Miami. He had 24 homers for the Rockies last year and drove in 76 runs. Bounce to Carter, backhanded. He cannot pick it up. It rolls away from him, and now the potential tying run will come to the plate.
Yeah, that's what you did not want to see here in the 9th inning. That chopper just clanks.
5th error for Carter this season.
And with that ball pushing Carter towards 2nd, if he comes up with it cleanly, it's an easy lead out if nothing else.
Rafael Noah is 0 for 2 with a walk. 6-3 game, and the Rockies have life here after trailing 5-0 following the second. They've been chipping away. They got 2 in the 6th, 1 in the 7th. The Astros adding a 7th inning run on Springer's second homer of the night. Now Scott Oberg, a right-hander, is warming up for the Rockies. Bouncer Gregerson, Correa, and Carter. And the Astros, who have turned things around, win their 37th of the season against 28 losses. They're now 3-1 on this 5-game homestand. Gregerson picks up the save, number 16. Dallas Keuchel with a win goes to 8-2. And the Astros beat the Rockies 6-3.